Most people believe poverty is about intelligence, talent, or effort. They think people stay poor because they're lazy, unlucky, or not smart enough. But psychology tells a very different story. The truth is uncomfortable, but powerful. Most people stay poor not because they lack ability, but because poverty changes how the human mind works. Money is not just numbers. It's emotion, it's fear, it's identity. And for many people, it quietly controls their decisions long before they realize it. To understand why most people stay poor, we first need to understand how scarcity affects the brain. When money is tight, the mind shifts into survival mode. Psychologists call this the scarcity mindset. In this state, the brain becomes hyper-focused on immediate problems: rent, food, bills, emergencies. The future stops feeling real because the present feels overwhelming. This isn't a personality flaw. It's a biological response. When resources are limited, the brain prioritizes short-term relief over long-term planning. Studies show that financial stress can temporarily reduce cognitive performance by the equivalent of losing 10 to 15 IQ points. Not because someone is less intelligent, but because their mental energy is being consumed by worry. When you're constantly thinking about how to survive the next week, planning for the next 5 years feels impossible. This is why many poor decisions don't come from ignorance, but from mental overload, high-interest loans, impulsive purchases, short-term jobs instead of long-term skills. These choices often make sense in the moment because they reduce stress right now, even if they cause more problems later. Scarcity narrows thinking, and narrow thinking keeps people stuck. Another powerful psychological factor is how people are taught to think about money from childhood. Most people are raised to be employees, not owners. From a young age, they're rewarded for following rules, avoiding mistakes, and seeking approval. School teaches obedience, punctuality, and repetition. It rarely teaches how money actually works. Few people are taught about assets, leverage, or compounding. Few learn how businesses generate value, how ownership creates income, or how systems can work for you instead of against you. As a result, most adults believe the only safe path is to trade time for money. This creates an invisible income ceiling. No matter how hard someone works, their income remains tied to hours, energy, and health. And when time runs out, so does money. Psychologically, this creates dependence. Dependence on jobs, dependence on bosses, dependence on stable systems that can disappear overnight. People learn to seek security instead of growth, even though true security rarely comes from a paycheck. Fear plays a massive role here. Human beings are wired to avoid loss more strongly than they seek gain. Psychologists call this loss aversion. Losing $100 hurts far more than gaining $100 feels good. For people who are already struggling, this fear is amplified. Risk doesn't feel strategic. It feels dangerous. Investing feels like gambling. Starting a business feels reckless. Learning a new skill with delayed payoff feels unrealistic. So people stay in situations they dislike, not because they love them, but because they fear losing what little they have. Ironically, this fear locks them into low-reward paths where wealth is almost impossible. Another psychological trap is instant gratification. The human brain is designed to seek immediate rewards. When life feels hard, small pleasures feel necessary. A purchase becomes relief. Entertainment becomes escape. Spending feels like control in a world where control feels absent. This doesn't mean poor people are irresponsible. It means emotional regulation is harder under stress. Saving feels painful when the future feels uncertain. Investing feels pointless when tomorrow isn't guaranteed. The brain asks, why sacrifice now for a future I might never reach? Wealth, however, is built almost entirely on delayed gratification. And delayed gratification requires stability, patience, and trust in the future. Things scarcity erodes. Social environment also plays a powerful role. Humans are deeply social creatures. We unconsciously adopt the beliefs and behaviors of the people around us. If everyone in your family lives paycheck to paycheck, that feels normal. If everyone around you avoids talking about money, discussing wealth feels uncomfortable. If success is framed as luck, corruption, or betrayal, then striving for it feels wrong. Breaking financial patterns often means breaking social ones. It can mean being judged, misunderstood, or even resented. For many people, staying poor feels safer than standing out. Belonging feels more important than growth. Money beliefs are another invisible force. Most people don't realize how emotional their relationship with money is. They think they're making logical decisions, but subconscious beliefs are running the show. Beliefs like money is evil, rich people are greedy, or people like me don't get rich quietly influence behavior. If someone believes wealth makes you bad, they will subconsciously avoid it. If they believe they don't deserve money, they will sabotage opportunities. If they associate wealth with guilt or isolation, they will choose comfort over growth. These beliefs are usually learned early, from parents, culture, religion, or childhood experiences, and unless they're questioned, they become self-fulfilling. Another major reason people stay poor is that they confuse income with wealth. A higher salary feels like progress, but income alone doesn't create freedom. Wealth is built through ownership, assets, and systems that generate value without constant effort. Many people earn more over time but spend more as well. Expenses rise with income. Lifestyle inflation keeps them dependent on work. They feel successful, but they're still one emergency away from collapse. Psychologically, this creates a treadmill effect. People work harder, earn more, feel busier, but never feel secure. They mistake motion for progress. Busyness itself becomes a trap. Being busy feels productive, but it often prevents deep thinking. Many people work long hours, juggle multiple responsibilities, and remain constantly exhausted. There's no energy left to learn, plan, or rethink their financial strategy. Busyness keeps people reactive instead of strategic. It fills time, but blocks transformation. Past financial trauma also plays a major role. Debt, bankruptcy, loss, or financial shame can leave deep emotional scars. For some people, money becomes associated with anxiety and pain. They avoid looking at bank accounts, ignore bills, or delay decisions because facing them feels overwhelming. Avoidance provides temporary relief, but it guarantees long-term stagnation. The mind chooses emotional safety over financial progress. On top of all this, modern systems are designed for consumption, not wealth creation. Advertising constantly tells people they're not enough without buying something. Credit makes spending easy and saving invisible. Social media amplifies comparison and status pressure. The default path encourages people to spend first, save later, if ever. Without conscious awareness, most people follow the default path, and the default path leads to dependence, debt, and financial fragility. Finally, there's the trap of hope without strategy. Many people hope things will improve. They wait for a raise, a lucky break, or a future opportunity. Hope feels comforting, but without action and education, it changes nothing. Wealth is not built on hope. It's built on understanding, behavior change, and consistency over time. It requires an identity shift, from consumer to owner, from survival to strategy, from fear to awareness. So when we ask why most people stay poor, the answer is not simple. It's not about laziness or intelligence. It's about psychology, about how scarcity reshapes thinking, about beliefs learned early and rarely questioned, about fear, comfort, and systems that reward consumption over ownership. The most important truth is this: poverty is not just a lack of money, it's a mental environment. And the first step out of it is not earning more, it's seeing clearly. Because once awareness begins, the cycle can finally break.